What's going on, everybody? So, I'm going to be talking about Tim Henderson's video regarding the church failing. Now, I do believe that this is very important to talk about, but I'm not entirely sure if Tim Henderson gets the whole picture. Due to the things that I've seen from him, he has had some type of affiliation with Freemasonry. And I did originally get that info from a slanderer's page, who I no longer watch, because of a situation that's happened. But anyways, I want to talk about Tim Henderson's video because Tim Henderson, he basically went on a kind of an emotional ride, and talked about how a lot of people are hurting and how a lot of people are broken, and how believers are fighting against each other and that kind of stuff. But I want to say my own take on it. And I want to say, Tim, yes, I do believe that quite a bit of the stuff you said in your video is true. I do believe that the church is backslidden. I do believe that the church is pretty much on the verge of its knees. And I do believe that if we don't stand up and start talking about the gospel, a lot of people are going to die. That's just the reality of things, man. See, this world, not everybody can be saved, because there's just some people out there that don't want to hear it. Now, Tim, I appreciate the idea of love that you're putting out to people. I really do. I appreciate it. But you mentioned a dream that you had. Can't fully remember what it was, but I'm sure that God probably did give you that dream. Probably did. But something I want you to understand, Tim, is that we have to rebuke. All right? We're living in times where rebuke is absolutely needed. Rebuke is what formed the early church. One of the things that formed the early church. And I see no reason why we should stop now. There's absolutely no reason why we should stop rebuke. So, be warned, all right? Just because somebody is rebuking, now I'm not saying that this is what you think, but this is something that I notice happens along a lot of people who affiliate with people like WOTW88 or Greg Jackson, and yes, even you, Tim. But people get this idea that just because somebody rebukes sharply, that they're biting off the head of another believer, which I find completely false. Rebuke is absolutely necessary, especially with so many disobedient occultists inside of the church. Now, they're everywhere. Don't get me wrong, man. They're everywhere. And I'm going to tell you this right now. They hate the church, my dude. They hate the church. It's not a matter of you welcoming them with open arms. That's the worst thing you could do, man. There's yin-yang occultists. There's Babylonian fish occultists. There's triangle occultists. All flock into your sections because you allow them to. They're everywhere, man. And an occultist is easy to spot out. Very easy. Because part of the discerning spirit means that you'll be able to see them. You'll be able to see them when they come. For example, you'll be able to tell an occultist by his wording. So if he uses phrases like "I am" to describe himself, backed up with occultic symbolism, that's an occultist, man. That's the truth. That's an occultist. Now, I do not believe that anybody with just a Babylonian fish is an occultist. I don't believe that. But I will question those people as to why they have a occult symbol, because that's very important stuff to figure out. Okay, so we got that over with. We're aware that occultists infiltrate through symbols and wordplay. All right. Now, the reason why the church is currently failing is because this is prophesied, Tim. This is prophesied. A generation of disobedient kids are going to rise up and overthrow the church. That's what's prophesied. Now, the reason why this is prophesied is so that way the coming of Jesus arrives quicker. Now, I would not be surprised if they're doing what they're doing because they want to fulfill it. I do think that there's quite a bit of them that do. But the majority, the vast majority, are simply just disobedient kids. They are people out for a vengeance for the church. All right? So, now that we get the idea, sorry, something was on my head. Got my Bible with me. But I want to talk about Matthew 7. Because this is something that a lot of anti-judgment believers like to pin on somebody who rebukes and that kind of stuff. Right, so I recall it being Matthew 7:5, where Jesus is talking to hypocrites. He's basically saying, hey, you know, you can't be judging hypocritically unless you take the plank out of your own eye, right? All right, so in no shape or form is that talking about general judgment. Jesus is not saying, hey, you can't judge. It's not what he's saying at all. What Jesus is saying is, don't judge hypocritically. Remove the plank from your own eye before you accuse somebody of thievery or before you accuse somebody of sexual immorality. Now, this is going to the anti-judgment people who believe that we ain't supposed to judge at all. In which case, I would say you have no idea what you're talking about, because judgment is also what formed the early church. So if judgment formed the early church also, judgment and rebuke, then why are you opposing it? To the anti-judgment people, why are you opposing it? Why are you opposing judgment? So I want you to open up your Bibles to John 7:24. John 7:24. Flip it open. Flip it open to John 7:24. And read that very carefully. So Jesus talks about a thing called righteous judgment. All right? In other words, judgment that is righteous. Now, who is the righteousness inside of us? Jesus Christ, right? Okay. So if Jesus Christ is the righteousness inside of us, then that means that through him we judge. And with that being said, that immediately debunks any anti-judgment. You can't skedaddle around that. You can't say, oh, well, Jesus was just saying that metaphorically. He was saying that as a way of appeasing or a way of appealing to the Pharisees. No. There's such a thing as righteous judgment. There's even a whole chapter in the Holy Bible, literally called Judges. It's called Judges. Brothers and sisters, if you have fallen prey to anti-judgment doctrine, you have to snap out of it, all right? Snap out of it because it's simply not true. It's never going to be true. The word is always going to oppose anti-judgment. So, back to what I was saying, Tim. The main reason why the church is failing is because the church is being overrun by occultic doctrines created by Freemasonry, possibly ruled by 7 occultic leaders whose main goal is to destroy and bring hell on earth. Now, I don't mean the lake of fire, because the lake of fire is the lake of fire. But what these occultic leaders are trying to do is they're trying to overthrow the church through occultism. Okay? Pay attention, that's deep stuff. All right? So, if you're ever curious as to why there's a red flag in the church, it's because of the very occultic people that you are allowing in your sections, who are infiltrating you with heresies and false doctrine, because that's what it all stems from, my man. It all stems from false doctrine. And they just watch as the people come tumbling down the stairs of false heresies. So, there's your answer as to why. And I hope you really sink that into you. Now, Tim, you might be saved. You might be saved just because I saw a Freemason amulet on you. It don't mean that you're not saved, man. Because there are believers who get ticked enough to actually join Freemasonry. But it doesn't mean that they lost their salvation. they could very much be taken out of it. The only thing is, it could cost their life, in which case they will be blessed. So blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are those who are poor, and blessed are those whom the truth has set free. Take care, and I hope that anybody who is curious as to what these occultic leaders are up to, look into it. Look into the Babylonian fish. Look into self-exaltation in the Bible. That's how Lucifer fell, by self-exaltation. It wasn't by being humble, it was by self-exalting himself. He fell from glory. All right? Peace out.